What is up? We are your Colorado real estate family, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney, and today we're going to be giving you 8 reasons why you do not move into Greeley, Colorado.
All right, let's go.
The first reason why you should not be moving into Greeley, Colorado is its location and or accessibility. If you're looking for a quick commute down into downtown Denver, this is not going to be for you, okay? Let's go into where Greeley, Colorado is. So if you want to get here from downtown Denver, you're looking at taking pretty much I-25 one way, which is kind of like the back roads ways. You can take I-25 north over to 76 out to Highway 85 straight north, and you're going to be going through a ton of farmland, ton of agricultural, industrial style areas. That's kind of your back way. The quickest way to get here from downtown Denver is to take I-25 straight north, get off on Highway 34 east, and then I'll take you straight into Greeley, Colorado.
And pretty much what all of that means is that you actually are kind of far from everything. At least it still feels that way. So if you're going down to Denver, it's about an hour, 8 to 10 minute drive, which is quite a drive, especially you're not commuting usually from Greeley to Denver. I mean, I guess some people probably do, but honestly, it is going to seem like a very far drive. If you're going over to Fort Collins, it's going to be about 42 minutes to 45 minutes, and that's not accounting for a lot of traffic. So again, not super close. And then if you're going over to DIA, it's also about 55-minute drive. So it definitely feels really far out here. So if you're not trying to just kind of live and hang out in Greeley, this is going to seem very far from the other big cities.
The second reason why you do not want to live in Greeley, Colorado is the fact that it's not too fancy. Now guys, I know there's a country song out there talking about fancy like Applebee's, date night, and all that crap. It's a little bit like that, so we're talking about a different kind of fancy. If you're looking for all the bougie crap that so many people like to do in Denver, Colorado, you're really not gonna find that here.
Yeah, and even the big jobs are not coming out to Greeley. Our tech companies are not coming out to Greeley. Those will typically stay closer to Fort Collins and Loveland. But we do, some of the top employers are gonna be like USA affiliates and University of Colorado, obviously, and then Banner Health. So we're not gonna be seeing a ton of like big companies outside of agricultural. You're not gonna have a lot of shopping. You're not gonna have a lot of fancy restaurants. If you're kind of a foodie, this might not be the place for you. Now, the one thing I will say is there are some cool restaurants surrounding kind of the campus life because they're really trying to incorporate kind of that more popular style eating, like where you actually hang out and eat. But this is not going to be the place where every corner you turn, you're finding a really cool new bougie-like food place.
Yeah, I will say this. So Greeley, Colorado, it kind of reminds me a little bit of what Fort Collins looked like maybe like 15 years ago, where Fort Collins is now crazy popular. Greeley kind of looks like that, but also Greeley doesn't have that outdoor lifestyle that Fort Collins does. Will it blow up in the same way where it does attract those fancy businesses or those places that people like to go for, eating out or shopping? I don't know. Only time will tell, but it does kind of look like Fort Collins a little bit when it did, like 15 years ago.
It's funny too, because my sister went to UNC, and she was a student here, and I remember coming here as a kid and just being like, oh my gosh, it just seems so big. And then driving through beforehand, I just still pictured what it looked like. We've been coming back up here since recording for you guys a lot, and I have seen this area change. It is so much bigger than I remember as a kid. So it has grown. It's actually longer. The downtown area of Greeley is way longer than what Fort Collins feels like. It's just not the same feel because of the mountain versus kind of being out east.
Yep. The third reason why you might not want to live in Greeley, Colorado are the schools, according to niche.com. All these grades are based off niche.com. It is not coming from us. We constantly take it straight from that website. So if you want to dig in a little bit deeper on what these grades mean, go ahead and check out niche.com. Colorado is full of so many school districts that are constantly rated high according to niche.com. Greeley is not one of those that's well known like these other ones. So what does it look like at niche.com? It's actually a B-.
Which honestly is not that bad.
No.
It's like in northern Colorado, we do have a couple really popular school districts that a lot of people talk about, which is going to be over in Fort Collins, which is the Poudre Valley School District at an A. And then we have over in Loveland, the, Thompson School District, and that's going to be a B+.
That's the Thompson Valley School District. So so we always get these mixed up because there's so many that do have that valley in them and assuming that don't. So we're always thinking they all have valley and then some of them don't have valley. So might be misspeaking a little bit on a few of these.
Yeah, but as far as comparing the two, going from an A to a B+ to a B-, not that big of a deal. But for some reason, Greeley just does not get the same kind of publicity around their school districts as some of these other surrounding cities.
And so one of the biggest things that we kind of look at when we're looking at these niche.com scores is academics and then also college prep. Those are the things that when we're looking for our family that we're always super focused on. And so that's why we recommend go to niche.com, look up these school districts and see what really works for you, because there might be some stuff like diversity that you really want on the higher end of the score or some other stuff. So really kind of check it out, see what it is. Sports, there's they also grade your sports in there. Go check it out on niche.com and really see which district works for you.
Before we hop into the fourth reason of why you shouldn't move to Greeley, we do these videos for you, and if you are liking this content, please give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so you get notified every single time that we put out a new video.
And of course, guys, if you are planning on purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado, more specifically today, Greeley, give us a call or text on that phone number right below. Give us a call, give us a text, doesn't matter day or time. We're there to answer them all.
Now, the fourth one could either make you want to come here or maybe not, but overall, Greeley is pretty conservative.
Yeah, guys, we just did a video on Boulder talking about how progressive it is. We had a few of you who commented on that and kind of trying to be like, all right, what exactly does that mean? Okay, so when we talk about Greeley being pretty conservative for the most part, so Weld County is the county that Greeley is in. It's on the north end of it. There's this huge thing in 2001 after the elections, all that stuff, where pretty much Weld County wanted to secede from Colorado to become a part of Wyoming. That will tell you right there how conservative it is over here. Weld County is definitely one of the most conservative counties in Colorado, and so if that's something that you want to be more on the progressive end, might not really be for you.
Well, the other thing too to consider is that it's still a college town as well. Typically, a lot of our college towns are located in the cities, and typically our cities are more progressive, but this is one of those cities where that actually doesn't follow the case. Speaking of college town, that takes us into the fifth reason you might not want to choose Greeley for you, and that is because we are in the home of UNC, University of Northern Colorado, the home of the Bears. We are sitting outside some of the student housing, which I think is so beautiful. This is, what do we call this? Anyways, we were looking at it, was like President's Hall or something, and there's all different kinds of housing out here. It definitely feels like a college town.
Oh, it does. It's just like a miniature version of Fort Collins, because over in Fort Collins you have Colorado State University. Right over here you have UNC. They're literally like right in line with each other as far as like how north in Colorado they are, and so they're kind of competing. UNC is definitely a little bit smaller of a school than Colorado State University is, but it does feel a little bit like a little version of Fort Collins because of the fact that you have the university over here.
Yeah, and not to mention so sometimes over by Fort Collins, some of the frats and sororities were kind of tucked away or a little bit away from each other. When we were driving right here just to kind of check out some of the student housing, they were like back to back to back to back, and like some of the students were playing like beer pong in the front yard and
what is it? It's like
and
lunchtime and they're over here playing beer pong.
So definitely feels like college town around here. I'm sure as you get further on the outskirts, we know that it's not going to feel as college town, but kind of the center of where we are and definitely close to downtown, it definitely feels like a school town.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of give you a heads up on that. Most of the people that we've helped out who've relocated into Greeley, most of you guys are going on the west side of Greeley, right? That way you have easier highway access, and then also you really don't want to be involved with this college lifestyle that they have down here. There are some who's like, hey, it really won't bother me too much. I just want the beauty of downtown Greeley, so that might be for you, but the majority of you guys that we help out, it's more so on the west side of Greeley.
The sixth next reason that you do not want to choose Greeley is because if you are moving to Colorado for our beautiful Rocky Mountains, you're not gonna find them here.
You'll see them in the distance, but if you want that mountain lifestyle, it's gonna take you a little bit. Like we mentioned, Horsetooth Reservoir is 52-minute drive from here. That's one of your main reservoirs. That's so many people go for all your boating stuff, all your hiking, all your paddleboarding. And so you're a little bit further from that, right? You might even have a better chance of going up to Cheyenne and doing something up there, more so than the Rocky Mountains here in, like, you know, Fort Collins, Loveland area.
Not only that, if you're gonna be going to the ski resorts and things like that, you're gonna be going all the way down to Denver and then out west on I-70. So coming from here, you might as well just plan a weekend because it's not gonna be one of those day trips you can go up unless you're planning on that very long commute.
The seventh reason why you might not want to move into Greeley, Colorado is the real estate market is taking a little bit bigger of a hit as opposed to somewhere like Fort Collins. So let's go year over year. You got a median sales price as of February of 2023, $399,000. That's down almost 7% year over year. We're comparing 2022 to 2023. Whereas if you go over to Fort Collins, it's actually up. I think it's almost like 3% year over year. We're talking February 22 to February 2023. So for some reason, with the interest rates, the market's getting hit the way they are right now. Greeley is down. Now, that could also possibly be a pro, right? You might be like, hey, I want to buy a house when it's down. So you might want to get in here because Greeley is blowing up like crazy. So maybe you do want to come in here when it's dipping down a little bit, you know, get a better price on a house instead of having compete and then wait for that market to go back up as opposed to Fort Collins where it's still kind of going up a little bit. Put Fort Collins into perspective, I think Fort Collins is a little stagnant up, right? This is kind of what we're doing right now with Greeley. It's looking like it's more stagnant down.
Yeah, now another thing about Greeley is, you know, the houses are a lot different than, say, Fort Collins. So they are a little bit more simple. You're going to get kind of a smaller square footage typically. There are some newer houses, but for the majority of them, like obviously anything surrounding downtown Greeley is going to be kind of that historic looking houses, whereas, you know, they are some new developments, but they're just kind of a little bit simpler footprint, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you want the newer developments here in Greeley, you're going to have to hit like that far west side of Greeley in order to access that. Otherwise, it is going to be a little bit more simple, your farm style house that was kind of built initially with this downtown area.
Okay, and the number 8, so if you've stuck around this long, good job. And honestly, it might be the most controversial of all the things that we're talking about today, but it is super smelly here.
Like when we do a Greeley video, we have some of you who live here in Greeley, you're like, it doesn't stink that bad, you get used to it. Okay, we understand
you might
that.
get used to it.
Yeah, you have the meat processing plants up here, you have all the agriculture that's on the outskirts of Greeley. I'm sorry, it does stink if you're not constantly in here all the time. If you're kind of traveling in and out, say if you are commuting all the way down to Denver, you're probably gonna smell it coming all the way back up here. You do definitely smell it. I'm sure it's on a daily basis, it gets better and worse depending on the day.
The wind and all of that.
The wind, how much sun shines out.
It's not windy today, guys. It's still smelly, okay? I can still smell it. We were like, oh, it's so beautiful. We're driving down Old Town Greeley, or downtown Greeley. We have the windows down, and then we were like, oh, okay, just kidding. And we're like, yeah, it does smell. So a lot of you commented on our last Greeley video. Yep. I'm sorry, guys. It's stinky out here. And stinky. I know that it's just like you get used. I know you get used to it. I used to live in Kansas. I get it. But it is stinky when you're not from here. Okay, we have given you 8 different reasons why Greeley might not be for you guys. If you have something to say about that, please comment down below. Or if you have more questions about Greeley, maybe none of those things bother you and you're ready to move to Greeley, that's fine too. We can help you as well. Go ahead and comment down below because we do these videos for you.
And of course, guys, if you are planning on purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado, we are your relocation experts moving into the area. So give us a phone call or text on the phone number right below. We are answered. It doesn't matter day or time. We are there for you. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.
They're literally like just right in line with each other latitude. They're literally just like, they're literally.
Okay. Might not want that word.
Okay. Colorado is its location Yeah,
I know, you're doing it again.
We're in Fort Collins. So how to get here real quick, we'll go over that.
Hold on.
Yep. Third reason why you should not, or the third
You might know.
Before we hop into that fourth reason, guys, we do this video.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
Speaking of College Town, that takes us into